Chemicals and material science, AI catalysts for discovery and innovation. Here's the urgency and opportunity in chemicals. The chemicals and materials sector sits at the nexus of many urgent global challenges and opportunities, from developing sustainable materials to meeting specialized customer needs. This industry's innovations underpin progress in energy, healthcare, consumer goods, and so much more. Yet traditional research and development in chemicals can be slow and costly, often a game of years-long experiments and incremental improvements. Today, AI is emerging as a game changer in chemical and material science, offering a way to dramatically speed up discovery and optimize processes. Forward-thinking companies see AI not just as an efficiency tool, but as the catalyst to reinvent the next high-performance polymer, the next lightweight composite, or the next delicious flavor formulation. Today, we're going to hook into the idea that AI's ability to generate and predict can solve pressing trends, like the need for novel materials, things like clean energy and packaging, the push for eco-friendly practices, and the demand for faster customization in specialty chemicals. The stage is set for a thought-provoking deep dive into how generative technologies are transforming sub-industries from specialty chemicals to fragrances. Welcome everyone, I'm Trauth Taylor, and this is the channel where you grow market impact with new product innovation in advanced manufacturing. Today, we're focused on chemistry, and we're going to start with the challenges to chemicals and materials innovation. Innovation in the chemical industry has historically been slow and risk-averse. There are major reasons why. Here are some of the challenges. Let's start with specialty chemicals. Companies in specialty chemicals, like performance additives and agrochemicals, grapple with lengthy R&D cycles. Discovering a new chemical formulation or catalyst can take years of trial and error in the lab. Then scaling up from the lab to production adds uncertainty. Additionally, fragmented data like past experiment results, customer applications data, it often sits in trapped siloed systems, making it hard to capture information, let alone learn from it. Additionally, market pressures demand rapid development of tailored solutions. For example, a coating for a very specific use. But innovation is constrained by limited R&D bandwidth and the high cost of experimentation. I've had the joy in my life of getting to watch as my husband leads R&D teams inside of specialty chemical companies. I've come up out of research and development in many of these environments. And my husband, in fact, has his PhD in inorganic chemistry. He's led and designed the new product development processes for many different mid-market chemical manufacturers. My sister, as well as my brother-in-law, are all chemists or chemical engineers working in this space. I've watched as they've solved complex, fascinating problems over the span of months, quarters, and sometimes years. Let's shift to how this looks in advanced materials and coatings. Creating advanced materials like high-temp alloys, carbon composites, or smart coatings involves exploring huge design spaces of molecules and material structures. One major challenge is complexity. Materials have multiple performance attributes, from strength, weight, to conductivity. These all must be balanced, and traditional methods rely on scientists' intuition and sequential experiments, which can miss optimal solutions. Furthermore, ensuring new materials meet sustainability and safety standards and regulations is increasingly critical and complex. For example, reducing toxic components or enabling recyclability. This all adds more layers of constraints for innovators. Let's look at plastics and composites. This subsector faces the dual challenge of innovation and sustainability. On the one hand, manufacturers need plastics and composites with improved properties, lighter, stronger, biodegradable, so much more. But on the other hand, there's increased pressure to reduce our reliance on too many plastics and improve their recyclability. Innovation can be slowed by the sheer volume of possibilities in polymer chemistry. The changes in molecular structure can take months to evaluate. Plus, again, scaling new composite materials for mass production for applications like automotive or aerospace requires ensuring consistent quality and performance, which traditionally means extensive testing and fine-tuning of manufacturing processes. The traditional approach can hinder the adoption of novel, greener materials. Let's talk about flavors and fragrances. An almost hidden corner of chemical science is the field that combines art and science. Creativity and expertise bottlenecks are key challenges in flavors and fragrances. Master perfumers and flavorists spend years refining their craft, and finding a new scent or a flavor is often a matter of trying countless combinations of ingredients. The space of possible formulas is astronomical, and consumer preferences are constantly moving targets. It can be so hard to predict which new fragrance will become a hit, or which flavor will perfectly mimic meat for a plant-based food. So many more scenarios. Moreover, again, regulatory restrictions on ingredients limit the palate, and there are natural sourcing concerns. Everything from the sustainability of ingredients like vanilla. These things all force companies to seek synthetic yet acceptable alternatives. All in all, innovation here can be slow and heavily reliant on individual genius. Across all of these sub-industries, additional barriers include strict regulations on chemical safety, environmental rules, a talent gap, especially the few people who straddle both chemistry and data science, data engineering, and AI. Plus data quality issues, like experimental data may be unstructured or left in physical notebooks and never digitized. The need for speed and innovation in these spaces is counterbalanced by these hurdles, making it so clear why a powerful new approach like AI is so enticing for chemical and material science companies who want to outcompete. Let's look now at how generative AI is accelerating solutions in chemicals. This type of AI includes techniques from deep learning to advanced language models, and it's tackling chemical industry pain points in new and novel ways. I have had the unique pleasure of getting to design AI systems specific to this industry, and so I want to share with you the top opportunities that you have for advancing in your adoption and the use of this tech to accelerate your go-to-market impact. Here's how AI is transforming the chemical industry. The opportunity for AI lies in analyzing vast data sets, historical experiments, molecular databases, patents, customer feedback, and the generation of new hypotheses, designs, and automation of certain workflows. Here's how AI is impacting chemical sub-industries. Specialty chemicals, smarter R&D and formulations. In specialty chemicals, AI is supercharging R&D by acting as a digital chemist that can propose new compounds or formulations meeting specific targets. Instead of manually tweaking a formula through dozens of lab iterations, chemists can use AI models trained on years of experimental data to suggest promising candidates in seconds. For example, generative models like advanced neural networks or transformer-based models can predict chemical reaction outcomes or optimal conditions, reducing trial and error. A collaboration between Bayer and AWS showed that generative AI could help predict better reaction conditions for chemical syntheses, which speeds up process development for new products. Moreover, AI can sift through literature and patents via large language models to identify potential starting points or even suggest recipes for a desired performance. One example is the Narratize Research Hub. It enables you to sync up with databases like patent databases, peer-reviewed literature, competitive landscape literature, and build full evidence tables, look for gaps and opportunities, as well as the impact and solutions that are existing in the market today or that may be close to breakthrough. All of this is highly valuable in areas like adhesives or surfactants where proprietary formulas are guarded. AI can generate alternatives that sidestep existing IP but deliver similar or improved results. By integrating with lab automation, like robotic experiment platforms or digital lab notebooks, an AI system can propose a set of candidate formulations every day, have them tested, learn from the results, and refine its suggestions for the next round. A closed-loop R&D accelerator that puts the chemist in charge and enables AI to give them superpowers, essentially. The payoff is potentially cutting development times from years to months and arriving at innovative solutions that human chemists might not have had the time or capacity to generate. Early adopters in specialty chemicals are already seeing routine tasks automated and researchers freed up to focus on high-level innovation, strategy, and customer listening, as well as, of course, more actual chemical development. Let's focus on advanced materials and coatings. Discovering the unobtainium. Advanced materials development is being transformed by AI's ability to navigate complexity. Techniques like generative adversarial networks or variational autoencoders can create novel material compositions or microstructures that can be optimized for multiple criteria. For instance, if engineers need a coating that is extremely hard yet flexible and also corrosion resistant, generative tech can explore combinations of elements and compounds at the molecular level that focus on achieving this type of balance, even search beyond the range of known materials. A stunning example comes from DeepMind's AI research and their tool called GNOME. It analyzed chemical data and predicted 2.2 million new crystal materials, including 380,000 with stable structures that could be valuable for tech like batteries and semiconductors. This essentially multiplied humanity's known palette of materials by an order of magnitude, a feat that would equate to 800 years of research at normal pace. Among these discoveries are candidates for next-generation superconductors and battery materials, proving AI's power to uncover hidden gems in the chemical universe. AI here is also excelling at material property prediction, using models to accurately estimate how a hypothetical material will perform without even needing to synthesize it first. This addresses a major bottleneck in materials innovation. Typically, you had to make and test a material to know its properties, but AI can predict many properties up front, allowing researchers to virtually screen hundreds of options and only make the ones that are the most promising. Companies and research labs are using this to design advanced alloys and composites. For example, aerospace material teams might use AI to design a new alloy composition with maximal heat resistance for jet engines while ensuring it's still lightweight. AI can generate candidate recipes that meet those goals, significantly compressing the design, build, test cycle in product development. The overall impact is a shift toward silico experimentation in material science, doing much of the discovery via computer simulation and AI generation, which is faster, cheaper, and can yield more radical innovations. Now let's look at plastics and composites. Innovation with sustainability in mind. Generative AI is helping reimagine plastics and composites by exploring alternatives that satisfy performance needs while improving sustainability. One approach we're seeing here is the use of AI to design new polymer structures. Polymers are essentially large molecules with repeating units, and tiny changes in structure can change properties, like making plastic more heat tolerant or biodegradable. AI models, including reinforcement learning agents and genetic algorithms, have been used to evolve polymer designs toward desired traits. Here's an example. An AI might generate molecule structures that degrade under UV light for better recyclability, yet they remain stable during normal use, something that's very relevant for packaging plastics. These AI-generated polymer ideas can then be synthesized and tested, narrowing down a vast search space to a manageable set of candidates. Let's look at composites, because materials like carbon fiber or fiberglass composites, AI is being used in this space to optimize their material architecture. Tools can now use generative design principles to propose how fibers should be oriented or what matrix materials to use to get a right combination of lightweight and high strength. There's evidence here that AI-optimized composite layups can significantly increase strength to weight ratios compared to traditional designs. One study, which applied generative AI to composite design, yielded complex internal structures that a human might not devise, resulting in parts that were lighter yet maintained rigidity. This directly helps industries like automotive and aerospace reduce vehicle weight, improving fuel efficiency or EV range without compromising safety. Sustainability is a major theme here. Generative AI assists in finding bio-based or recycled material alternatives for conventional plastics. By analyzing databases of biopolymers or chemical recycling processes, AI can formulate plastics that have similar performance to petrochemical ones, but they break down more easily or come from renewable feedstocks. It can also optimize processing parameters to use less energy or produce less waste. In summary, AI provides the chemical creativity and predictive muscle needed to innovate plastics and composites that meet 21st century demands. High performance, low environmental impact. Now let's look at flavors and fragrances. Creativity augmented by AI. Perhaps one of the most fascinating applications of Gen AI is in flavors and fragrances chemistry, where subjective art meets chemical science. Companies are now using AI to generate novel flavor combinations and perfume formulas, essentially augmenting the creativity of human perfumers. One notable example is Symrise, a leading fragrance maker. They partnered with IBM to develop an AI called Philera. Philera was trained on thousands of formulas and consumer preferences, and it began suggesting entirely new perfume recipes. The result? Symrise used this AI to create 2 new fragrances that went to market, something unprecedented in this industry. The AI was able to scan 1,300 fragrance ingredients and identify novel combinations that human perfumers hadn't tried, all while meeting design criteria like a target demographics preferences or a brand's theme. One of these AI-designed perfumes launched in Brazil, proving that an algorithm can co-create scents that people love. In flavors, Gen AI models, sometimes borrowing from neural networks used in drug discovery, can propose new formulations for, say, a plant-based food to taste like a specific type of meat, or a beverage with a unique flavor twist. They do this by understanding the chemical flavor profiles of ingredients, for example, the molecules that give smoky or fruity notes, and then suggesting blends that achieve a target taste. This is incredibly useful for developing flavors under constraints like all natural ingredients or allergen-free formulas. Startups have also built flavor GANs that generate hypothetical flavor formulas and test them with predictive models to see if consumers might like them, which helps narrow down, again, the vast possibilities to a few candidates for actual taste testing at stage 4 of the product development cycle. The role of generative AI here is not to replace the flavorist or the perfumer, but to inspire and augment. It might come up with a combination of aromatics that a human expert then fine-tunes to perfection. It also helps record and analyze feedback. An AI can parse customer reviews or sensory panel data via language processing and learn what notes are hitting or missing, then adjust its suggestions. This data-driven creativity means companies can respond faster to trends. Imagine spotting a sudden consumer craze for floral fruity scents and having AI churn out dozens of new floral fruity perfume ideas overnight. So what's the end result here? A traditionally time-consuming creative process becomes more agile, more data-driven, and even more experimental, likely leading to more frequent and diverse product launches in the flavors and fragrances market. I think we're gonna see this explode. I think we're gonna see the pace of product launch inside of flavors and fragrances explode for those companies who are really embracing this AI capability. Expert insights and future outlook in chemical. AI experts in the chemical industry are increasingly vocal that generative AI could be a transformational force, providing companies overcome initial hurdles. A recent industry report, which we always link in the show notes below, heralds Gen AI as poised to transform the industry by driving innovation, efficiency, and ecologically sound practices. It notes that Gen AI allows faster research and development, resulting in shorter timelines and lower costs, while also enabling material optimization, which improves product performance and sustainability. In operations, AI-driven predictive maintenance and supply chain optimization can cut downtime and improve logistics. This broad endorsement suggests that leaders see AI not as a single point solution, but as a strategic capability across their value chain, from molecule discovery through manufacturing to commercial strategy. However, experts also caution about prerequisites for success. Chemical enterprises traditionally deal with a lot of proprietary knowledge in the form of lab notebooks, patents, and tribal knowledge. For AI to be effective, companies need to digitize and centralize this knowledge. McKinsey analysts pointed out that many Gen AI use cases could not be realized unless some degree of digitization, technical capability, and scientific expertise is already in place. In other words, an organization with good data practices and a tech-savvy workforce will extract far more value from AI much faster than one still reliant fully on paper records and siloed teams. There's also the matter of trust in AI's suggestions. In a domain where safety and correctness are paramount, no one wants an AI-suggested material that turns out toxic or a process that fails at scale. Validating AI outputs is critical. Experts recommend a human-in-the-loop approach. Let AI generate options, but have scientists apply their judgment and run confirmatory experiments. Scientists are also crucial to the design and setup of AI experimentation. Over time, as AI proves itself by delivering results like successful new products or efficiency gains, trust is built. Looking to the future, the pace of innovation in chemicals could accelerate exponentially. The vision here is that AI could help achieve something akin to Moore's Law for materials, doubling the rate of materials innovation every few years. This would be revolutionary for industries like aerospace, energy, or healthcare that depend on materials breakthroughs. We might also see AI-designed chemicals with precision functions. For instance, drug molecules designed by generative AI, or agrochemicals that target only specific pests. As sustainability remains a dominant concern, Gen AI will likely focus on solutions like CO2 capture materials, biodegradable plastics, or alternative proteins, helping society address environmental challenges faster. There's a talent and culture shift on the horizon. The next generation of chemists and material scientists might be as versed in coding and AI model tuning as they are in inorganic chemistry. This hybrid skill set will become highly valuable, as noted by industry leaders concerned about the current talent gap in AI and data science within chemical companies. Companies need to partner more with tech firms or startups to infuse AI know-how quickly. We're already seeing partnerships. For instance, Clariant, a specialty chemicals firm, collaborating with tech providers to embed AI into their workflows. And of course, at Narratize, we're working with mid-market chemical manufacturers as well as some of the largest chemical companies in the world to support them with faster speed to market through their product development cycles. In summary, expert perspectives converge on a hopeful note. Generative AI, used wisely, can unlock immense value in chemicals and materials. Faster discoveries, smarter processes, and more sustainable practices, essentially helping the industry reinvent itself for the modern age. The next decade could witness an innovation renaissance in chemistry powered by AI, akin to what the 20th century saw with the advent of new polymers and drugs, but at a much faster clip. And with that in mind, I want to share some of the outcomes that chemical companies are achieving with platforms like Narratize. Generative AI is driving so many profound changes in how chemicals and materials companies innovate. But capturing all of that knowledge at scale requires new ways of looking at knowledge architectures using LLM technologies. This is where Narratize comes in as an innovation enabler in the chemical industry. Our platform helps chemical R&D teams, product developers, manufacturers, and the go-to-market teams turn deep technical insights into clear, accurate documentation at scale. Why is this important? Consider one of our customers, a material science team that used AI to discover a novel polymer. The next step is getting buy-in from management to production to potential customers who need to invest in and adopt the new material, or at least greenlight the next stage of development. Narratize helps this chemist articulate his findings, put them into a product knowledge hub, grow all of the materials needed to help him communicate the opportunity upward in the organization through their stage gate process, and then finally begin inviting colleagues cross-functionally into that shared knowledge hub. And as the product scales and they prepare for launch, Narratize supports documentation from the creation of manuals and technical requirements all the way through to go-to-market materials like training for factory floor employees and sales teams. It then empowers sales and marketing teams to log into those same product knowledge hubs to generate every type of marketing needed, from one-pagers and brochures all the way to thought leadership and press releases. In chemical companies, experts across these functions spend hours writing documentations, reports, patent applications, safety data sheets, and marketing brochures for every new product that they launch. Narratize accelerates these knowledge workflows significantly. It's designed to handle the most complex, technical, and long-form templates common in the industry, ensuring accuracy, quality, and traceability across every insight that's output. In other words, every quote, every paragraph shows where the source comes from in your secure and private knowledge hub. For this reason, Narratize is uniquely tuned to help you craft technical documentation and product data sheets that are immediately ready for review, saving teams weeks and months compared to manual workflows. What I personally get most excited about is how this enables teams to move to market faster. We're seeing Narratize users move through their stage gate and agile processes 4 times faster using these capabilities. Imagine all of the new problems that are going to be solved for customers and the industry at large thanks to this acceleration. The other thing that honestly gives me goosebumps about this capability is the way that it captures real-time insights from your people and makes them stored and accessible into the future. In chemistry, one of the biggest challenges that we hear are the seasoned veterans who retire. When they retire, it's like a library burns with them. They've spent their career understanding the nuances of a certain machine or the designs of certain chemical experiment protocols. With Narratize, the way that you're able to prompt each other and the way that you're able to plug in sources like group meetings or digitized lab notebooks, it enables you to capture knowledge at scale from everyone in your company so that it's never lost. This makes onboarding new employees so much more effective. And it also makes it possible for you to search and learn and understand what other people know inside of your company. One last benefit that I want to highlight here, and it's really around innovation storytelling. Chemists historically struggle to communicate in ways that are engaging and inspiring. They're, of course, accurate, technically true, but it's critical as you think about how to elevate R&D and the technical experts in your company into a bolstering effect for the company's overall thought leadership, that they are able to translate their expertise effectively externally. And this is where innovation storytelling and platforms like Narratize don't just help automate documentation and marketing materials. They do it in a way that's infused with best practices in technical communication so that this literature is not boring or dry. It's well designed. It articulates the customer's pain point. It shows market differentiation, and it pulls benefits and claims in a way that's accurate, clear, and engaging. The most exciting aspects of everything we've talked about today have to do with the pace of innovation inside of the chemical sector, the pace of innovation, the culture change that it inspires, and all of the capabilities that it unlocks. From working with vast amounts of data and analyzing it faster, to designing new formulations, to actually capturing and utilizing the knowledge within your company and beyond. But this is no time to just think and learn. This is the time to get started. We've covered a ton of ground today, and I hope you've learned a lot. But I want to leave you with this point. Now is not the time to just passively receive this information and feel inspired. Now is the time to get started. If you're not already piloting AI capabilities for formulation design or fragrance analysis or knowledge management, you're already behind the top competitors, and their pace of innovation is dramatically becoming exponential. Start today, start small, validate wins, and build trust. Scale from there. That's my best advice. I can't wait to see how many new breakthroughs and how the pace of innovation continues to grow exponentially inside of the chemical industry. I'm Trauth Taylor, CEO of Narratize, and I want to inspire you to keep innovating. See you in the next one.